All right, let's kick off this deep dive. We're all about InDesign today. Got a whole stack of manuals and resources here, ready to dig in and see what we can find.
Sounds good.
You know, whether you're just starting out with InDesign or you've been using it for years, there's always something new to learn, always a hidden gem or a shortcut waiting to be discovered.
Right, exactly.
So that's what we're here for, to uncover those hidden gems, those time-saving tricks, and really unlock the power of InDesign.
That's right. And you know, one thing that really struck me as I was going through all this material is just how much InDesign has evolved over the years. I mean, it's come a long way from its early days as primarily a page layout program.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's become this incredibly sophisticated tool that can handle everything from simple brochures to complex interactive documents. And the typography is amazing.
Yeah, the typography capabilities are phenomenal. It's almost like having a traditional letterpress shop right there on your computer.
Exactly. And, you know, we have Pryor Burke to thank for a lot of that.
Oh, absolutely. His books and articles are like the InDesign Bible. I mean, this guy knows InDesign inside and out. He even worked at Adobe for a while, right?
He did. So we're really tapping into the expertise of a true InDesign master here.
Yeah. He made a comment in one of his books that really stuck with me. He compared InDesign's typography features to traditional letterpress printing, saying that InDesign can achieve that same level of detail and refinement.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? I mean, when you think about the history of typography, the craftsmanship that went into creating those beautifully typeset pages.
Yeah.
And now, with InDesign, we can achieve that same level of quality, but with so much more speed and flexibility.
I know, it's mind-blowing. So where do we even begin with all this typographic awesomeness?
Well, let's start with open type fonts. Those are a real game changer, I think.
Open type fonts. Okay, yeah, I've heard the term, but to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what makes them so special.
They're like cross-platform superheroes. You know how in the old days you'd have all those font compatibility issues between Macs and PCs?
Oh, yeah. Ugh, the dreaded font substitution problem.
Right. OpenType fonts pretty much eliminate that. They're designed to work seamlessly across different operating systems. So no more missing fonts, no more weird glitches.
That's a huge relief, for sure. No more hunting down those missing fonts. So OpenType fonts, definitely a win.
A big win.
But what else? What are some of the other things that make InDesign's typography so powerful?
Well, there are a couple of features that really elevate the sophistication of your text.
Okay, lay it on me.
Discretionary ligatures, for example.
Discretionary ligatures. I've seen that term. What exactly are those again?
You might think they're just fancy flourishes, but there's so much more than that. They actually play a crucial role in creating truly refined typography.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
See, when certain letters are placed next to each other, like the phi combination, they can create these awkward bumps and gaps.
Oh, right. It can look kind of cramped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And discretionary ligatures come in and smooth those out, creating a more elegant and balanced look.
So it's not just about making the text look pretty, it's actually about improving the readability and the overall flow of the text.
Precisely. It's those little details that make a huge difference in the overall aesthetic.
So discretionary ligatures, check. What else? What other secrets are hiding in the typographic toolbox?
All right, get ready for this because this is where InDesign really gets smart. Contextual alternates.
Contextual alternates. Okay, now that sounds interesting. What's that all about?
This is where InDesign's intelligence really shines through. It subtly adjusts the font based on the surrounding letters.
Wait a minute. InDesign can actually change the font.
In a way, yeah. Not the entire font, but it can make these subtle adjustments to individual characters, making sure everything flows smoothly and looks perfectly balanced.
So it's like having a typographic ninja working behind the scenes.
Exactly. Making sure every character is perfectly positioned, making those tiny tweaks that most people wouldn't even notice, but that make a huge difference in the overall aesthetic.
Wow, InDesign is way smarter than I thought. This is making me rethink how I approach typography. I might need to go back and revisit some of my old designs.
We've all been there.
Okay, so we've got open type fonts, discretionary ligatures, and contextual alternates. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Oh, we're just getting started. InDesign is packed with typographic tricks and tools, and we're going to uncover them all.
Awesome. I am ready to dive deeper. All right, so typography, that's like the art of InDesign, right? But we all know there's a practical side to design too. Like when you're on a tight deadline and every minute counts.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Efficiency is key. And Pryor Burke, he's got some great InDesign secrets in his books that can really help us save time.
He does. It's amazing.
Like, I was reading about overset text and how InDesign has these features that can make dealing with that so much easier.
Oh yeah, overset text. That can be a real pain. But
Yeah.
InDesign has some tricks up its sleeve, like text threading.
Text threading. Okay. I got to be honest, I've heard of it, but never really understood what it was.
So basically, it's like creating a flow for your text. You link different text frames together so that the text flows smoothly from one frame to the next, even across pages, like a river.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. So you're not just trying to cram all the text into one box. You're creating a path for it to follow.
Right, exactly. And to help guide the reader along that path, you've got tools like jump lines and carryovers.
Jump lines and carryovers. All right. Now you're just using fancy words to make me feel lost.
No, they're actually pretty simple. Think of a jump line, like a signpost, telling the reader where to go next to continue the story, like those continued on page notes you see in magazines.
Oh, yeah. I've seen those. So those are called jump lines.
Yep. And a carryover is kind of the opposite. It lets the reader know where the text is coming from, like a continued from page note. It just helps create a smoother, more intuitive reading experience.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not just about fitting all the words in, it's about guiding the reader through the layout in a clear and logical way.
Exactly. It's all about the flow.
All right, so text threading, jump lines, carryovers, got it. What else? What other time-saving magic does InDesign have?
Hmm. Let's see. The tabs palette.
The tabs palette. All right, now that's something I use all the time, but Burke was talking about this right indent tab like it's some kind of secret weapon.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
It's all about creating hanging indents that adjust automatically as you edit the text.
Wait, back up. Hanging indents, those are the ones where the first line sticks out further than the rest, right?
Exactly. So with the right indent tab, you can set that up once, and InDesign will automatically adjust the indent as you add or delete text.
So I don't have to go back and adjust it manually every time I make a change.
Nope. InDesign does it for you.
Okay, that's awesome. No more fiddling with the ruler. I can already see how much time that would save.
It's a lifesaver, especially if you're working with lists or tables.
Right. Or like if you're designing a menu with prices and you need everything to line up perfectly.
Exactly. Speaking of time-saving magic, we got to talk about text variables.
Text variables. Okay, I've seen that term, but I've never really used them. What are those all about?
Think of them like placeholders that can be linked to data sources. So you can use them for things like names, dates, or even entire paragraphs that you want to reuse in different parts of the document.
Oh, so it's like having these dynamic fields that can update automatically.
Yep. Burke had this great example in one of his books. He talked about a funeral home that uses text variables and scripting to automate the production of memorial programs. They can generate personalized programs with just a few clicks, pulling information from a database.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, talk about efficiency.
Right. It's a perfect example of how InDesign can streamline even the most complex workflows.
Okay, so text threading, the tabs palette, text variables. We're getting some serious InDesign ninja skills here.
We are. But sometimes it's the simplest things that make the biggest difference,
Oh, like what?
like selecting the paragraph mark before you apply any formatting.
The paragraph mark. Yeah, that little backward P thing. I admit, I don't always pay attention to that. What's the big deal?
It's all about consistency. By selecting the paragraph mark, you're ensuring that the formatting you apply is applied to the entire paragraph, including any hidden characters like spaces or line breaks.
Oh, okay. So if I don't select it, I might end up with weird formatting issues.
Exactly. Like part of the paragraph might be in one font and part of it in another, or the line spacing might be all messed up.
Right. Inconsistent formatting. That's never a good look.
Nope. So selecting the paragraph mark, it's just a good habit to get into.
Makes sense. It's like laying a good foundation before you start building.
Exactly.
All right, so we've covered overset text, the tabs palette, text variables, and even the humble paragraph mark. I'm starting to feel like an InDesign pro.
You're getting there.
But I have a feeling we're just scratching the surface of what InDesign can do, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's so much more to explore. So many hidden gems waiting to be discovered.
Well, let's keep digging them. What else does InDesign have in store for us? Is there anything that really surprised you? Like a feature that you didn't expect to be so powerful?
You know, there is. It's probably not the most glamorous feature, but the fine change feature is seriously like a secret weapon in InDesign.
Fine change. I use that all the time, but mostly just for like finding typos or swapping out words. What's so special about it?
Most people don't realize how much you can actually do with it. It's not just for text. You can use it to find and replace graphic characteristics too, like colors, stroke weights, even object types.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me I could use fine change to like find all the red circles in my document and change them to blue squares.
Exactly. It's incredibly powerful for making global changes across a complex layout.
Okay, that is pretty cool. I mean, that would save so much time. No more clicking through every page and making the same change over and over again.
Right. It's a huge time saver. And it gets even better. You can combine fine change with GREP.
GREP. Okay, I've heard that term thrown around. But I always thought it was like something only coding wizards could understand.
It might sound intimidating, but it's really not that complicated. Think of GREP as a way to create super specific search queries.
So, like, instead of just searching for a specific word, I could search for a pattern of characters.
Exactly. Let's say you have a long document with a ton of phone numbers, and you need to make sure they're all formatted the same way. With GREP, you could create a search pattern that finds any sequence of 10 digits and then automatically formats them with dashes or parentheses.
Wow, so I wouldn't have to go through and format each phone number individually.
Nope. GREP would do it all for you. And it's not just for phone numbers. You can use it for all sorts of things, like changing capitalization, inserting special characters, controlling spacing and line breaks. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
My mind is officially blown. Fine change and GREP, I need to add those to my list of InDesign superpowers to master.
Definitely. It's worth taking the time to learn. They can really take your InDesign skills to the next level.
It's amazing to think that after all these years of using InDesign, there's still so much more to learn.
I know, right? There's always something new to discover. Every time you dive into InDesign, you find some new hidden gem or technique. It's really a journey of constant learning.
Well, this deep dive has been incredible. From those subtle typography tricks to the power of fine change and GREP, I feel like I've got a whole new set of tools to play with.
That's great to hear. Now it's time to put all this knowledge into practice and see what amazing things you can create.
Absolutely. A huge thank you for sharing your InDesign expertise with us today. I'm sure everyone listening has learned a ton.
It's been my pleasure. And everyone listening, keep experimenting, keep pushing the boundaries, and most importantly, keep creating.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive, where we'll uncover more fascinating insights and hidden knowledge from the world around us. Until then, keep exploring.